Well, hello and welcome to this edition of the Swarmcast. I'm Brian Davis. This is the Big Hurt Jamie Majors, Bryce Young, and behind the microphone, of course, our executive producer, Casey Massey. Randy likes to call him the tech master, but he is the producer, and you know the reason he's the executive producer? Because he's the only producer we got.
That's all we got.
That's all you need.
That's all you need.
That's all we need, though, you know?
Yeah.
We're good.
Welcome to the Swarmcast. Of course, as you can tell, Randy's not with us tonight. He is on his way back from Thomas County North, better known as Atlanta. And he was part of a Skills USA competition today as a technical advisor. And from what I heard, his technical advice to the kids was call Casey if you have a problem.
Hey,
it's good advice.
I mean,
it's good advice.
Very
Speaking of technical, this is pretty cool. This was kind of big news this week for us. Two of our robotics teams qualified for the World FTC Robotics Championships.
Sweet.
In Houston, Texas in April. Cyber Stingers Gold 6988 and Cyber Stingers Blue 8433 headed to their first FTC Championships in Houston on April 15th through the 19th. Cyber Stingers Gold 6988 secured their championship berth by winning the Inspire Award, the highest honor awarded at an FTC competition. That's pretty cool. Gold's outstanding season culminated in this recognition, demonstrating their commitment to excellence in every aspect of FTC. As y'all can see there, that's a good group of people. Led by the team captain Clayton Slusher, the Gold roster includes Lydia Glass, Riley Weeks, Chasten Harrison, Landon McMullen, Seth August, and Natalie Carslisle. Their teamwork, engineering prowess, and dedication to STEM education have set them apart as one of Georgia's premier robotics teams. Not to be outdone, Cyber Stingers Blue 8433 also delivered a stellar performance at the Georgia State Championship, earning the Inspire Award second place. So we got first place and second place.
So the gold beat out our blue team.
Right.
Wow. That's impressive.
Which secured their spot at the FTC Championships. Additionally, Blue made an impressive playoff run, advancing to the semifinals. That is awesome. That's going. We could just about
trash
fill out
talking going on right there. You reckon?
I'm sure it's probably in code and we wouldn't understand it, but I'm sure there is.
It probably would.
I got to tell you, and this is coming from people that don't even know how to spell robotics.
That's right. So, anyway, huge congratulations to them.
Yep.
I believe that Bellamy is the
Brian
coach.
Bellamy.
Yeah, Brian Bellamy is the coach for them. Great job and safe travels, and that's awesome. Getting to go all the way to Texas, we can almost fill up an airplane. We got so many kids going.
That's awesome.
Just good stuff, and it don't get much better than that. I'm so happy to be able to say that. We got a busy slate tonight, guys. Even though Randy's not here, we are going to be slammed. Coach Rogers is calling tonight. Head wrestling coach Matt Tanner is calling tonight. And head baseball coach Cy Jones is going to be calling as well. We have got a lot to talk about. But in the meantime, guys, I'm glad to have y'all here with us tonight.
Man, it is awesome to be here. I'm missing the weekly thing. This every 2 weeks we're having to. Man, we've got so much to talk about tonight. This will not be hard. Like to welcome AC Green and Obadiah Nuclear Farley checking in with us on the chat, and welcome anybody that wants to get in there and chat,
Speaking of the chat, y'all make sure y'all share, and we want to thank our sponsor, Dairy Queen. The DQ. Casey is doing a test run tonight of some new software that we got, and so if you can chat, make sure you chat with us, share. And if you have any issues, put it in the chat, and we'll see if we can get it taken care of. Trying to get it all to where it's more on a similar streaming platform that you'll see from big-time streamers, where we have only looking at one screen instead of 3 or 4.
There you go.
And that's why he's the executive producer.
Yep. And I want to give a shout-out to Greg. He's been so generous.
Tell me what the Blizzard of the Week is.
The Blizzard of the Week is the Turtle Blizzard of the Week, and need to go by. I know that that's probably a fan favorite anyway for a lot of folks, but it's really good. Greg has been so gracious to sponsor us, and his crew always does a great job up there. Dairy Queen, hey, go by there and get
what we got to do with what's upcoming?
What's that?
Right, you got March Madness, right? We've got to do the Blizzard tournament.
We do.
We have got to do
it. That would be sweet, and we'd let everybody chat and vote.
Yeah, you could chat and vote. That would be cool. We're going to have to go reach back. We got a lot of Blizzards to talk about.
Now y'all remembering why you keep me around a little bit?
You are the man.
I forgot already.
Who are you talking to?
Good gracious. Who?
But anyway, see, that's a good idea, Bryce. Hey, speaking of which, Give me a little update. Me and Randy were talking earlier this week, kind of before Coach Rogers calls. Sam, a lot of people are asking how he's done, what's going on with that. And have you got any updates? I know that kind of hit life, or a speed bump, so to speak, but maybe some good news at the end of the tunnel.
Yeah. I don't think it's going to work out Georgia Southern. There was some mishaps with the registration part,
Right.
I'm going to say, of the tryouts.
Paperwork, more so.
But it sounded like poor communication for him.
It was in school.
But not for him, but
right.
poor communication on
involved.
wanting to make sure certain people get steered the right way.
Yeah.
So,
And I mean,
anyway,
and nobody from or afterhand, nobody from the walk-on tryouts made the team at all for any position.
Wow.
So it was more of a
Really?
formal thing. Yeah,
there was.
Huh.
but
that was a
there
formal
is
thing.
something in the works that is more local.
Mhm.
So we'll just TBD on that because I just let him. Well, whenever everything gets finalized, we'll let him call in and share.
I got you.
So I'll let him handle.
Yeah,
what
for
he's
sure.
got going
Sure,
on.
we'll be glad to have him back. Shout out to Josie Walden, for competing in an audio production competition at Skills USA. Her technical advisor was Randy Young, and he told her to call Casey if she had any problems.
Are you kidding me?
I'm just telling you.
I'm not even going to say it. Randy Young checking in with us up right there on his way back on the road.
But no chatting and driving at the same time.
Now, AC Green said we should probably play the siren sound effect during TCC soccer matches at home.
I'm thinking at this point, when we walk in the building, siren, walk out of the building, siren.
I think it's a great.
More
Everybody needs to know what's going on.
More cowbell,
That's
more
right.
siren.
More cowbell.
Hey,
more siren.
I'll take what I can get.
I like
Yeah.
it.
So, but yeah, y'all make sure y'all chat in the chat. Y'all share every post that you can. We're trying, like I said, with this whole streaming thing, this thing is really taking off. And so we've got some new stuff in place, and Casey has really worked hard to be able to do all this kind of stuff. So we have new analytics that we can actually look at to see our listeners and our viewers, which is really cool. So that gives us real-time data, how many people are watching. It's just good stuff. It's really, really good stuff. So we're excited tonight. And also, too, just as a reminder, our next show will be March the 6th. That's in 2 weeks. It's 2 weeks from today. And like I said, we'll do that until we get into the summer. We'll take a quick summer break, and when we'll come back, hard to believe we'll be talking about it's going to be right on top of it again, football season.
Yep. I wanted to let Lakeisha know that Randy Young had a skills challenge up in Atlanta that he had to take care of today, and he's driving home, so he won't be available. But I can't wait for Randy to see how awesome it is to be able to read this chat.
Oh, he's jealous. I'm going to tell you, this is
I'm telling
awesome.
you, man, this thing is really nice. Thanks for our school board. For Miss Williams and all for all that she's done.
It's easy to do what we do because our people invest in what we do, which makes us be able to invest into our fans and our actual students. It's really communication and really execution as far as if we need something, they take care of it.
Absolutely.
This is good stuff, and it makes it more accessible for y'all to be able to get information. And honestly, the more that we can support the school system as far as vocally and be able to tell people what's going on, it's good stuff.
And at the end of the day, what do we want? We want our kids in the spotlight.
Yeah,
we want our kids in the spotlight.
Absolutely.
So this is what we do.
Because even though we are always kind of athletic heavy, this is still a school system, and education comes number one. We couldn't have high school sports or any kind of school sports without school. That comes first, and so that's just part of it. And we are super, super thankful for our administration and what they do for us to be able to give us the tools necessary to get it done.
Absolutely.
So Coach Rogers should be calling just shortly. I do have some stuff we can talk about. Flag football. I can get in this. So they had team honors come out and all area. First team offense, Jada Pinkins, Celeste Owens, Paige Parkerson. First team defense, Zachariah Hightower and Lexi Fries. Second team offense, Kate Thedford, Kwamaya Yerby, and Delasha Spencer. Second team defense, Mackenzie Smith, and honorable mention, Sage Butler. Flag football finished 8-8 with a few close ones. Double overtime loss to Houston, 2 1-point losses to Lowndes, won a playoff game and advanced to the Sweet 16 in their first season. Remind you.
That's awesome.
That's the impressive part.
With a team GPA of 3.71 and graduated 4 seniors.
Gee.
Hey, what you can't tell me? Chad Parkinson has set himself up for next year to really. That is a phenomenal
Coach.
phenomenal
You got to
first
raise
season.
the bar, and I'm going to tell you something now.
It's gonna be tough.
Yeah,
It's gonna be tough, but I think with all the great coaching and the learning that went on this year,
Yeah.
it'll be a lot less focused on teaching
Sure.
how to play the game,
Mhm.
and now they can play faster. And,
Right.
and
Well-
we got 1 year under our belt. So.
and it's towards the end of the season. We got better and better and better to where, and you bring up a good point about not having to teach, and you're just able to coach.
Yep.
To where then you have those students that can coach as well on
Yep.
the field and be able to lead in that formation. So that's
Well,
a very valid
you
point.
go from learning to perfecting your craft at that point.
Right.
So
Right.
you take that step. But I mean, that right there is super impressive. All this first, second, and third team.
Yeah,
Right there.
Absolutely.
That's pretty much I don't know how many's on the roster, but that sounds to me like almost a whole starting team. there,
really, it's a good
to
amount.
be honest with you.
Well, and you think about it too. We've got so many good teams in our area. Lowndes and Valdosta, Colquitt County are all in our area. So you're not talking about just like a region. You're talking, and those teams have had teams for a long time, 2 to 3 years.
And I think I've heard them talking about during the Super Bowl
Mhm.
how they were trying to push nationally.
yeah,
to
they had a
make it-
commercial about
yeah,
it.
about how much they wanted to make every state with a huge push to make flag football more available
Yeah.
to every
Yeah.
school.
The,
So,
the NFL has really done a good job as far as promoting flag football and really women's athletics in that stance because they invest a lot of time and money, especially into more rural and more unfortunate areas to where they don't have necessarily the access to it. Like we're so blessed to have the access to a lot of stuff like this, but a lot of inner cities and stuff don't have the access. They're really pinpointing places like that. Be able to put those teams together and give them the same opportunities other places have. So kudos to the NFL. I don't think I've said that very often.
I hadn't either. But
But
except
nevertheless,
for our
it's cool.
guys that get there.
Right. Hey, yeah, that's part of it. So super cool stuff. Also, too, I've got another thing we can talk about. Cross country, 11 podium top 3 wins this season, with 6 of them being first place finishes, the most we have ever had. These finishes are huge deals in cross country. There are often upwards to 15 teams racing at once. Many are top notch private schools. For teams being from a really public or teams from a really big public school, finishing on the podium is extremely sought after. 6 number 1 first place finishes, 11 podiums. That's top 3.
Good
Boys
grief.
had the fastest season fastest season average since 2015, and girls had the fastest since 2016.
Wow.
5 runners won first team all region honors, and there are only 15 slots. And we just talked about how many teams compete in these things. Girls had a GPA of 3.90. Boys had a GPA of 3.71.
That is.
And right now they're getting ready to run in the Rose City Run. And I can tell you this much. If you're running in the Rose City Run, that may give you an extra effort to put in a little bit more effort knowing these people will be running with you because that's going to be on. Casey, do you have that swim photo? We can go and hit that too.
Go for it.
So TCHS swim team attended the state swim meet last Friday and Saturday at Georgia Tech Aquatic Center. Nick Pierce swam with 2 individual events, the 100 free and the 500 free, while Nick Pierce, Johnny Bradshaw, Kay Parker, and Lucas Miller swam in the 200 free relay, and that was at the state swim meet. Congratulations to them for making it, and great job and great season to our swim team.
Yep.
I've also got some soccer updates. Soccer played Thomasville boys and girls this week. Boys won 1-0, and girls won 3-0 over Thomasville. I believe that was on Tuesday.
Kind of got that rolling now.
Man, they are going strong. Of course, hey, I think that's probably.
Uh-oh.
Is that?
Hey, Coach, you got me?
Yes, sir.
There he is.
Hey, Coach Rogers, Brian Davis filling in for Randy tonight. How are you, sir?
Doing good.
Coach, news broke last week that y'all have put together a show enough spring game for us to play in. Honestly, as far as I can remember, probably the coolest spring atmosphere that we will have played in as far as just the variety of stuff that's going to be happening and how the big teams that we're playing. Tell us how all that came to be and tell us exactly what's going to happen.
Yeah, I think it's one of the coolest spring things in the history of the state.
Yeah.
Not only here, but just, kind of neat, kind of getting in front of it, and doing something kind of neat. So now, obviously, we've been looking for a spring game. I mean, heck, we've been looking for a spring game since last spring, trying to find one and put out some feelers and reached out to some people that were looking and just couldn't ever really get anything. And so, we got a couple friends over at Georgia State, and they had wanted to kind of throw some things together with various teams and said, asked would I be interested. And I said, yeah, if the situation's right, I certainly would. I said, that's a long way up there now. And they said, well, how about if we had like North Gwinnett or Gainesville? And I said, yeah, I'd get down with that party.
Absolutely.
Because now that's kind of worth the price of admission, to get up there. And it'd be great. And so we had kind of kicked the idea around and moved everything. And then they had to move it to Thursday because Gainesville, they graduate school on Friday.
Oh, okay.
And so they couldn't do it on Friday. So they had to move to Thursday for Gainesville's graduation. They said, would you still be interested? I said, well, man, dang, I don't really want to do it on Thursday. That's tough. We got to go to school on Friday.
Right.
And they were like, well, we can move you to Friday. And they named off some teams. And I was like, nah, I don't want to. If I'm going to do it, I want to do it against them.
Sure.
So we stuck with Thursday, and we're going to make it work. And so, like I say, it's just a great test for us. You're going against two really good programs in Gainesville and North Gwinnett. So our guys will get a challenge, all right, and get a good test for us. It's great exposure for our program and for our community. And so that'll be a great exposure because that'll be a highly touted, a lot of media, a lot of college coaches looking at that. So it's great exposure for everything. And then it's a great experience. I mean, it's just a cool experience. Those guys get to go up there and play at Georgia State, the old Turner Field, and go out there and play a game in a cool venue like that. I mean, that's just a really neat experience they'll remember. So It checked a lot of boxes. And just kind of, we felt like, even though it's going to be a strain, it'll be a lot going on that day. It was worth it.
Yeah, we definitely need to strive to pack Center Park Stadium.
Yeah.
I think we need to drive to do that. But
Coach,
I'm super excited, man. That when I seen this, I know you kind of shared that you may have some news. And I don't know if this was it. You may have even more.
It was.
But
we were Zooming. I knew I had a Zoom set up for that following week with the head coaches. And so we were meeting with a representative from Georgia State and me and Niblett and Godfrey, because I'd played Godfrey when he was at Parkview and I was at Moultrie. And so we had set a Zoom up so we could kind of work out the details. So that's why I couldn't. Right. I knew it wasn't nothing. We were ironing out some little details with it, but it was pretty much a done deal at that point.
But Coach, both of those coaches have had a great run at both of those schools. I mean, they're right at the top of the they're at the top of the litter every year. I mean, it's just,
ain't no doubt. I mean, Niblett's, what he did in Alabama and all that. I can remember riding over, in fact, on a weekend after I'd got it, kind of the worst secret in the history of the state when I was going to Moultrie, but it wasn't quite official yet.
Right.
And so I was kind of in hide, and I rode over and spent a day with him, and we talked, kind of what that was like, and following situations, and so we did that. Just a super nice guy. Niblett's such a humble guy, very giving, and he is an excellent football coach. His record speaks for itself. And then Eric Godfrey, what he did at Parkview and all the wins he had there, and he continued to do it at North Gwinnett, and they're always known for their defense. Coach Godfrey's always got a phenomenal defense. And so I've got two great coaches.
Now, was Coach Godfrey there at Parkview when Jeff Rancourt and all that bunch came through?
I don't know about all that. He may have played with Jeff Rancourt.
Oh. Dude, they was unreal then, buddy.
Yeah, they were rolling in.
Man, I'm so excited to have this to look forward to, and it's created a buzz around, around the town, and
around the state,
that's what we
around
wanted,
the county.
We wanted our fans to be excited about, and like I say, hopefully we'll get it broadcast. I know they're working on some things on their end, but if not, I'm sure we know some folks that can get it done.
I think
there's already discussion.
That's right. And so get it broadcast, for our guys and for our people to see. And so I figured it would create excitement there. But then also, I hope and I believe it has, created excitement for our players. It's always fun when you feel like you're preparing for something, and especially when you're preparing for a worthy opponent. We hope that'll give us a little jolt in our off-season training, as you hit those lull months, which is late February and March, where it kind of lulls. Everybody's excited in January, and then you got to fight them lulls to keep the fire going before spring ball, and everybody gets excited at spring again. So hopefully this keep us energized, keep us continuing to build.
Coach, I was going to ask, Obadiah Farley asked, is there any advice that you would give to any of our fans that would be traveling to attend the spring game? Have they worked out any guidelines on how they with the parking and all that stuff? Or
no, I mean, I would think parking be pretty simple right there. I mean, I think they've got parking for their venues and everything. They're going to actually have a game or 3 teams going before, so you get there early and watch some football. Wow. You're going to have Valdosta, Noonan, and Troop are going to do a 3-way. Yeah, there'll be a 3-way game at 4:00, I think it is, or 4:30, and then we'll tee it off at 7.
Okay.
And we'll go first against North Gwinnett, and so we'll do ours against them, and then shake hands, and then we'll immediately go against Gainesville after that, and then it will be done, and then Gainesville will go against North Gwinnett to finish up.
And that's 2 quarters at a time.
It is. Now, there's some modified rules to it because we're trying to get so many players in. That was some of the stuff we had to work out to how we're going to do it with the series, with the 1s, but then making sure the 2s and 3s make sure they get enough work because it's spring ball and we want to get people in.
Yes, sir. Yeah, it's understandable.
But at the same token, I'm driving 4.5 hours. I want to make sure I get some rest for my 1s too.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Absolutely.
Get the work in. So we've worked out, I think, pretty good format. We're still ironing out a couple little things. And so I think it'll be a really good setup, pretty neat setup.
Well, Coach, I can want to tell you we're excited about it. And I know the buzz since it all broke out, everybody has something really to look forward to. And like you said, I mean, this is really the biggest spring event that I have seen anything like this. And I'm excited that we get to be a part of it, go up there and get to play some really good teams. And I know it's got to make you feel good too, that everybody's like, hey, we want Central a part of this because of the recent success that we've had, long-term success too. It makes you feel good really in between the ears knowing, hey, everybody all of a sudden is starting to say, them Yellow Jackets, whatever we do, we want to have them up there with us.
Yep.
Yeah, we want to be a state brand.
Right.
We don't want to be just obviously a county brand or even a South Georgia brand. We want to be a statewide brand. We want the state of Georgia the way it used to be in the 90s, and the fact you talked about Central football. I mean, it didn't matter if he was in North Georgia, Atlanta, Middle Georgia. Everybody knew Thomas County Central football. And we want to make sure to get this thing back out there like it is. And I think we're starting to do that now, though, that you're becoming a household name in communities that love football no matter where they're at. North Georgia, Middle Georgia, Atlanta, especially South Georgia.
Absolutely.
I love it. Coach, I appreciate you calling. We look forward to, the whole thing. And like I said, the other night I was talking to my fiance and I told her, I said, this is something right here. Half the counties in the middle of May is going to be like, well, we got to go again. It's time to go with Atlanta. It is so cool. And I'm super excited about it. And I know the boys are too.
Yeah, man, I was hoping it didn't work out, but I was hoping that the Braves had a weekend series and people could just make a trip out of it.
Yep.
But dang it, the Braves don't play Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. And so you had to skip work in school if you're going to catch the Braves and us. Ain't nothing I can tell you other than that. Maybe you get a note wrote.
I was about to say, you ain't got to twist my arm or anything. I can.
I know, but boy, it would have worked out great if some families came up and the Braves were going to be there for the weekend and do that. So as soon as we said it, I Googled it to see what the schedule was, but that didn't work out. But if you want to go to the aquarium or something, maybe you can do that.
Go get you a Coca-Cola at World of Coke.
There you go.
Yeah, I ain't doing that again, man. I did that one time. Y'all don't have that.
Oh, I don't blame you. Coach, thank you for calling. Y'all have a good night. We appreciate you, man.
All right. Thank y'all so much. Go Jackets.
Yes, sir. Go Jackets. Like I said,
always excited to talk to Coach Rogers. I can tell you that now.
And that event really it's national attention at this point because you're playing really good teams at a really unique level because you're playing at a collegiate field and a historic field at that. It's just a really cool atmosphere, and I've never seen a spring format quite like this.
No, this is going to be a little different. This is you're definitely going the adage of iron sharpening iron. You're definitely going to see that. There's no pushovers here.
Casey, do you have our image from signing day the other day?
Yeah.
Yeah, we need to definitely talk about that. That's pretty awesome.
Yeah. And it's nice too with that spring game jamboree that like that we're being invited to that. Like the question you asked Coach about how how it felt to be included in all that. I mean, you're playing up classification here. You're
Right.
playing the best of the best in the state of Georgia, so that ought to just speak for itself.
I mean, and you see the other teams that have gone to this thing, and like I said, I didn't even know there was going to be a game before.
I didn't know that either.
Yeah,
But that's pretty awesome.
We're going to have to leave early to be able to get up there because that'll be cool to watch.
Oh yeah.
This right here is an image from our signing day. Congratulations to a lot of guys. Of course, early signing day we had some people sign, but these are the guys that are going here. A lot of local guys are staying near. A big congratulations to them. We got and now is he our first player going to TU? Is that right?
I believe
Yes,
he is.
it
LeVar
Madison. Congratulations to him. That's pretty cool there. Jaden Rubo and Clark and just a bunch of guys. Courier, a bunch of guys there, and y'all can see how awesome it is to be a Yellow Jacket. A lot of time and investment from those young men, and congratulations to them to be able to get the opportunity to play at the second level.
Do you remember in the preseason when I said you better watch Rayburg?
Yeah, there he is, right
there. He is. He's got him a scholarship.
All right.
And
all right, Matt Tanner.
Matt Tanner, how are you, sir?
I'm good, man. How are y'all doing?
All right, we're good. We're good. Coach, of course, this is Matt Tanner, in case anybody don't know, our head wrestling coach. Coach, wrestling had a great season this year. And a lot of people, don't follow wrestling as close as they really could, and because it is different with the individuals and the team aspect. Break it down for us as far as like the team overall, and then we'll get into some individual guys as far as overall in the season, how our team did.
First year with a girls wrestling team. Am I right,
That's
Coach
right.
Tanner? And
That's
I think
right.
they
That's
done
right.
well. So
They did. Yeah. So the first half of the season is kind of focused on the team aspect. We have what's called duels, which is my team versus your team. So we try to that's there's a lot of strategery in that, and you might have a person that is a 106-pound weight class, but might be somebody that you bump based on matchups to the next weight class. So there's a lot of strategy that goes into trying to pick up wins there. We were missing a couple weight classes this year we couldn't fill, so we had to do a lot of that. And we ended up being able to do good enough on that we ended up second in the region again behind Coffee.
Awesome.
So that was good. After the region tournament, that qualified us as well for state duels. So we went up there, top 16 teams in the state in 5A, and so we were fortunate enough to do that. But it's hard to overcome. It's hard to overcome giving up 12 points in a forfeit.
Yeah.
So
I hear you.
we wrestled well across the board. With the matches we did wrestle. So definitely something to build off of. Very young team. So look forward to going back. Next year with that. So pushing for a region championship next year. I really think that can happen.
Now you talk about kids that may be coming back. Let's get into the individual standings, and that's what makes kind of wrestling unique, because you have two different, like you were talking about. You got the strategics from your duels, and then you have your individual accolades too. How did all that play out as far as our individual?
Yeah, so once it gets to individual, it's how bad you want it.
Right.
It's you versus everybody up in the state in your weight class, and cream rises to the top. We're a very young team. Now, saying that, they're very experienced. I do believe this is probably top to bottom one of the most talented teams we have. I feel like we underperformed at times, but I think that comes with maturity. It was definitely some different struggles this year. That we're working the kinks out on, and the kids, we're right back a week after the state tournament, and kids are working to correct those things. But
awesome.
We qualified 11 from region to the 12. Qualified 11 from the region tournament to the sectional tournament, and then we took 6 to the state tournament.
Wow.
Wow, that's awesome.
Looking at paper and seeing who should do what, I felt like we should have had 2 or 3 placers, and it just didn't work out. This is the first time in 7 years we hadn't had any.
Right. Wow.
But I'm kind of glad it happened. It was a learning experience for some of our guys, because they are really talented. And they've been around some teams in the past because these guys, my freshmen and sophomores, they've been around here 5 or 6 years too.
Right.
They've seen these other guys come through the program and the things that they've done, and complacency will get you, man.
Yeah.
Well, Coach, it lights a fire, so you kind of got to see where you want to get. When you don't have nobody qualify like that, hey, this is
right.
What are we doing? Reevaluate. But Mike Bufford asked a question, Coach. He said, "What weight classes were we missing?" He was just asking.
We were missing 113,
okay.
and we were missing heavyweight.
Okay.
The past those 190, 215 heavyweight guys have always been. If you look at our state placer board the last 7 years, those heavier guys. That's where we've had them.
I got you.
But we just didn't have a heavyweight. I had a guy. We had a couple that were overweight. From that heavyweight position, if you can believe that.
Wow. And
they worked hard to get down there. They just, I don't like the way the state does that. It cuts off at 285, and the way, the way athletics are these days, the kids are bigger.
Sure.
And you can't, they can't lose it. It's a lot of muscle. So hopefully that's something they revisit at some time. But, we're returning 5 next year, 5 state qualifiers, and
that's awesome.
And they're from freshmen to sophomore. So we got what we need. We just gotta make it happen.
Well, Coach, while we got you on here, I'd love to extend a little time to you to maybe recognize some coaches that coach with you. And I think a lot of people in the community really don't know. This is a good place to let people know what's going on with it. So.
Yeah. Well, if you don't mind that, let me mention my girls first.
Yeah, absolutely.
Go ahead.
Absolutely.
We've had a Stella Harper, one of our girl wrestlers. She's been in our program since I believe 5th grade, and she's finally a freshman this year. So we kind of opened it. I opened it up for signups, and man, we had 14 girls sign up.
That's awesome.
Wow, that's awesome.
They were fun to coach. They worked hard. I think we ended up taking 5 or 6 to the sectional tournament, and then we took 1 to the state tournament.
That's cool.
So first year in that, but
took half of what we got, Coach.
That's right. But Emma Brumley, who's a senior, she qualified for the state tournament. She's also a goalie for the soccer team. Does a great job there. So, but proud of those girls, man, and I look for that to cause more stir in the community as well, and get more support there. We got a lot of girls in the middle school and youth programs, but coaches wise, Lee Taylor, Andrew Bauer, my brother is the head middle school coach, Miles Tanner.
Yep.
And then three guys that I actually coached here at Central, Jalen Dunbar, Garrett Harrell, and Hadley Jackson gets off of work and comes to help us out.
That's awesome.
And then Joseph Stokes helps us out as well.
That's awesome.
So we run that youth program, and a couple of those guys run that, and there's 100 something elementary school kids that come.
And that was going to be my next question to you. Talk about that youth program a little bit, because that's one of those things that when you get into it, that it really just builds. Really, not only just the ability to wrestle, but conditioning. And there's so many attributes into wrestling that are really, when you get into it young, like by the time they get to be a senior in high school, it really pays off in dividends.
Those techniques and stuff.
That's right. And me and Coach Rogers, talk about it every now and then. And Cooper's out there with us, but
right.
We're really playing the long game with it.
Yeah, gotcha.
We provide that free of charge. I got coaches at all the schools, so we bus them over, and it's if you want to use it as daycare, use it as that. But my thing is, it's a service to the community. It's at least getting these kids an opportunity after school to get an hour of the giggles out. You know what I mean? They're in there. They're roughhousing with each other and just having an opportunity to be boys and being little boys, little girls, and learning how to move their body and be athletic, so that as they grow up and they figure out what they like to do, they've worked on it. Their whole time they've been in school. So I believe it's a service to the community, and if we can get a handful of them every year that want to wrestle, then great. But I think it's just good for Central in a whole.
Well, I want to add too, Coach. When I was a senior in 1990, Coach Wilhelm, of course, had come to Central the year before, and they had started our wrestling program. And all us seniors was out there, and man, he set that mat up there, and he says, "We're gonna wrestle today, boys." And I think we all found a trash can about 2 minutes into that. But I'm telling you, when you use, I think I used every muscle in my body. I mean, it wipes you out. I don't understand how anybody could wrestle for 5 minutes. I don't get it. It was the hardest thing I think I've ever done. And that was right after the season. And we thought we were in pretty good shape, but you're just using stuff that you don't use every day. So it's a tough woman sport. I mean, it's easy.
Jamie, it does take everything you got, and it's unlike anything else you could ever do. And I tell my kids all the time, folks that do it are pretty daggum crazy. Because you sit there and you go through all that and you put your body through it and mentally, it's just as tough. And, you do it and you're really not guaranteed to ever win a match.
That's right.
There's really nobody to help you. It's you.
That's right.
So, you can't really say, I tell them all the time, man, I can't guarantee you're going to be a state champion if you do everything that you're supposed to do, but I can guarantee if you don't do it, you never will be.
That's right. That's exactly.
So, it's just one of those things, man. It's life. There's life lessons in every sport, but I think wrestling encompasses a lot of life lessons. So,
absolutely.
Coach, we got one last question. We can close with this. Ken Hortman asks, does the wrestling team do any fundraising for the program?
We do. Right before Christmas, at middle of November, we always send out, the famous text-a-thon. Yep. That seems to be the central standard fundraiser these days. But I think it's great. It hits different folks instead of the same ones all the time.
Yep.
And then we also sell business sponsorships. We got a magnetic board in our gym over at Bishop Hall. We try to collect those during the summertime. So. That's the two things that we do, man. It allows us to provide apparel and travel and everything for all our kids, elementary to high school.
That's awesome, Coach. Yep. We'll see if we can get with you when we get back in the fall, and right when y'all are getting ready to get started and stuff, we'll get you back on, and we can kind of gear back up and get you some more publicity and stuff, and talk about the fundraisers and stuff like that. And we'll get you back in the fall so we can kind of hit it right before it starts and kind of keep up with it that way.
Yeah, I appreciate it.
All right, Coach, man. Have a good night. We appreciate you so much for calling.
All right, y'all too.
All right,
thank you, Coach.
See you.
Good guy. Good guy, and has done a fantastic job. He inherited a really good program built by Bill Wilhelm. I mean, Coach Wilhelm is a staple, of course, still is at Thomas County Central, and that wrestling program really was pivotal under him. And Matt Tanner took it and continued what Bill Wilhelm had put in place and has done a fantastic job. And kudos to him, and kudos to our wrestling team and how good we were this year. And the fact we bring so many back, and it is so underrated to me, the conditioning and all that they put their bodies through to be able to wrestle. Yep. It's not easy.
Yep. Uh-oh, we got us another phone call.
Cy Jones.
Hey, Casey, what's up, brother?
Hey, bud.
Hey, Coach Jones. Brian Davis. I'm filling in for Randy tonight. He's on the way back from Atlanta, but I got Jamie Majors and Bryce Young with me. Coach.
Hey, boy. How's it going?
Man, we're good, but I'm going to tell you what. I wouldn't be good if I was like playing our baseball team right now. Holy cow, that stat, 36-0 in our first 3 games. Were you expecting anything like that?
I cannot admit that I was. No, sir.
That was awesome. So we played Thomasville and downtown, and we went down there, and I saw a little bit of highlights from that. And then we played Bainbridge on a weekend game, right? Yes, sir.
Had a Friday, Saturday schedule with Vidalia coming over to spend the night, playing us Friday night, and playing on Bainbridge Saturday. But unfortunately, Vidalia's head coach, his father passed away unexpectedly, and just hours later, one of the assistant coaches had their first child. So it was certainly a unique situation, but totally understandable that they had to take care of their immediate families. So they weren't able to come. So we just played Bainbridge the one game on Saturday, and had a good crowd, some nice weather for the home opener, and the boys played well.
That's awesome, Coach. When I saw that stat come out about how well we played against Thomasville twice and Bainbridge, I'm like, okay, we're really hitting on all cylinders. But And a lot of people forget, when you run rule and you shut out. Well, in order to shut out, you got to have good defense. So we'll start there. Tell me a little bit about our defense and how well we're fielding the ball.
Yeah, we're fielding the ball great. We've had, like I said, excellent pitching usually beats good hitting, and both those opponents have guys that can really swing the bat. But our pitchers and defense have been everything and more that we could expect this early in the season. They've thrown strikes, and we've made the routine plays, which is kind of what we went into the season focused on as a coaching staff, was having the ball put in play, and when it's your turn to make a play, just be able to make the routine play. Don't try to be something that you're not. Play within yourself, and the guys have really taken heart to that. I think it takes some of the pressure off of them if they can just think, I don't have to be something more than I'm not. I know what I can do. I do this every day in practice, and it's really paid off for us here in the first three.
Coach, was at the Thomasville game the other night. Played a very good baseball game. I thought I was fixing to see. I don't ever remember actually seeing 2 double plays in one game. But Coach, I thought the third one that we should have got, I thought was not as close as the second one we got. But I was fixing. I was telling the guys, I said, man, I almost seen 3 double plays in one high school baseball game, and I don't never. Have you seen much of that over your years of coaching?
No, sir. Not traditional double plays where it goes around the horn. Sometimes you have those instances where the third baseman may step on the bag and fire it across, or a line drive doubles off a player. But to have a 5-4-3, a 6-4-3, and a 4-6-3, like I said, just inches away, really rewarding. And the one that we got in the first inning was huge because they had a little something going, and Pitts was on the mound, and admittedly he wasn't himself, and he was trying his best to find out what was working best for him that night, and that's probably the only time you got a chance to get to Dallas, because once he gets it figured out, he rolls pretty good.
Oh, yeah.
That double play was able to get us out of the inning, and I think he gave up one little bloop hit the rest of the outing. So,
wow.
And I think that kind of sparked him, Coach, after, because I seen him get pumped up when they turned the double play, was pumped.
Well, we always make the football analogy, and when we're practicing that double plays are like recovering a fumble, and that it's something that you hear coaches talk about, making plays in the special teams or getting turnovers and winning the turnover battle. And double plays it's almost like a turnover in baseball because it shifts the momentum so much. So we spend a lot of time repping those throws over and over and over, and the boys, they had the opportunity to execute them, and they came through. So it's not going to happen every time, but that's why you rep it, and it paid off for us against Thomasville for sure.
Absolutely.
Hey, Coach, this is Bryce, and I'll ask you a hopefully not too difficult question, but for anybody like me that hadn't had time to stop by and watch a game yet, what would you consider our strongest aspect of the team? Was that bats, the pitching, or the defense?
Right now, I would probably hedge towards our pitching staff. We've got a lot of kids that have not pitched for us that we have penciled in to make a big impact, and we feel like unless they have a good season for us, we're not going to be able to compete at the championship level that we expect.
Sure.
But dadgummit, they just hadn't had a chance to get in there because of the uniqueness of the scores of these.
Right.
So we're really excited about the depth of our staff, even though Reed and Dallas have handled a majority of the innings. So we're really excited about tomorrow and Saturday, going over and playing some very good teams out of Florida. We'll start Landon Walsh on the mound, who's pitched one inning for us.
And look good now. And look good.
So we're excited to see what Landon Walsh and Braden Griffin and Hudson Williams and Zach Williams and some of those guys can do, because they had excellent off seasons and their bullpens have been very well. So I'd say right now we'd have to say the strength of the team is with our pitching staff, but at the same time, when you're scoring runs at the clip that we're scoring them, you have to give credit to the hitters too, who worked very hard
Absolutely.
and stayed after practice and got extra reps, and really, really proud of the way these kids talk the game. They're really interested in their craft and becoming master craftsmen, and hitting that goes a long way with hitting such a hard thing to do.
Right.
A lot of failure of. So when you get kids that are interested in the whole process of hitting, from the mental approach to the actual physical aspects that go into it, you got something that you can really get excited about.
Absolutely. Coach, I wanted to add too that I thought that when the games that I've been able to go see, I thought that Braden Payne has been one of the big time leaders. Of course, Braden's a senior, and he's a good baseball. He's a great baseball player. Plays everything 100%. So we're lucky to have him.
Very lucky to have him. So fortunate to catch him on his last year. Like I've talked to Braden and the parents and a lot of people, especially of the seniors. It's always hard to have a new coach your senior year.
Yeah,
especially when you've been playing as much ball games as Braden has. And I just feel so fortunate that Braden's allowed me to coach him and really bought into the things that we're teaching. And not that it's a stretch from anything that he's heard or learned his whole life, but it's just, there's things that are different. And Braden's been non-hesitant to help me implement the message and believe in my message. And we talk all the time. He's like I said, he's been named one of our team captains, and anytime that I have something that I want to run across the team, I'm able to call Braden in and get his opinion, and just know that what he's doing out there in practice, it really sets the tone for other guys. And I constantly remind him of that, and he takes that responsibility very serious. And that's why we've got him at the top of the order. He could bat 3, 4, 5, anywhere in the order, but I kind of take the Ronald Acuna approach. He's our best offensive player right now, so just throw him up there at the top of the lineup, let him get as many at bats as anybody on the team.
Absolutely.
Causes such havoc when he does get on the bases.
Yep.
Well, Coach, I'm going to switch gears with you real quick.
Sure.
Of course, if you ride by the bypass right now and you see this big building on the right-hand side and all this getting built, if you look to your left of the high school, you'll actually see a baseball facility is getting worked on. Coach, from my understanding, this new baseball facility we're getting will be really unique in its technological advances that we're going to have implemented. I was just wondering if you could kind of touch base with us on that, because my understanding on that is we're going to have some pretty unique things for hitting and batting that are pretty unique to just this facility's being built.
Oh, and even better said, is more unique to the level of play of the players that it'll house.
Sure.
Mm-hmm.
I met the guys that'll be hanging our netting and laying down our turf, and he was also the guy that did Georgia State and University of Georgia, and he was just really in shock and awe when he walked inside. He just kept. We had worked together in the past at one of my past stops. He had done work at our facility, and he just kept saying my name over and over and over and over. He just could not believe where we were standing. We were inside taking measurements, but yeah, it'll have six full 65-foot batting tunnels to go along with 2 full bullpen mounds.
Wow.
All turf, all under one huge, what they call arena net. There'll be one gigantic net that covers the whole facility. And then within that arena net, there'll be movable nets that are on pulleys and cables where you can back them all up and have one gigantic space, or pull them together and have 6 different batting lanes and 2 different pitching lanes to go along with a full weight room that'll house 8 full racks where the boys can bench, squat,
cool.
Additional racks, and then there'll be a full laundry room for myself where I can get in there and get the uniforms washed and take care of that. There'll be equipment room where we can just roll the pitching machines and defensive machines just right off the edge of our dugout into a fully ramped equipment room, a gigantic uniform closet, a 27 locker room, all housed underneath an upstairs loft that'll act as a classroom and a player lounge.
Oh man,
it's going to be really something. What I just got news today that it will be they'll be completely done with the LED lighting by the time they go home tonight.
Hey, that's cool.
We're looking at hopefully getting the turf and netting done Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. It's about a 3 or 4 day project. So even though the locker room's still coming along and the weight room will probably wrap up around mid-March, we should be able to get in there and hit some by the end of next week. So that'll be
awesome.
Sweet. Yeah, we're really excited about that. Some big news.
Oh, and I always tell people, if you don't believe big things are happening in the county, just ride down the bypass. That's all you got to do, because you cannot miss it. It is so unique in a high school setting that, or like you said, the level of players that we have will be able to have something really on par with them. That's just cool.
Yeah, it's really humbling, to be honest with you, when I run into my coaching confidants at clinics and whatnot, and the way that the word is spread around the state. I had so many people come up to me in the hotel lobby where the clinic was being housed, ask me about our facility. Tell me about that new facility you got, and vendors that sell equipment and stuff. Like, hey, I got an idea. Was wanting to run by you. I think it would really go well with your new facility. And I mean, I don't know these people from Adam, but the word is out that the county is really committed to every sport that the Jackets play, and it's so cool to be a part of that as a head coach, to have the support of the county for my sport as well as all the sports, and we're just in this thing together, and it's such a good family atmosphere.
Yep, Coach, and it really, as someone that, as like I said, I had a real close following with the baseball program until I moved to Tallahassee, and I wasn't PA announcing anymore, but as seeing the success that we had, and then seeing it just get continuously, amped up, and I'm so looking forward to this season, and really your era here at Thomas County Central. I think you've done a great job, and I think you've really put the blinders on and redirected everything where it needed to go. And I just personally, I'm really looking forward to it, and I appreciate you doing all that you do for Thomas County Central. I mean, I really do. But before we close with you, I was going to get you to just give us a quick update about this weekend, who we're playing, where can people go watch the game at, and so we can make sure we have Jackets in the stands.
Yes, sir. Well, I certainly appreciate those words. Yeah. And again, it's very humbling to be to play the role that I play in the program, and just so appreciative of guys like you that care so much about our kids and our student athletes, and have this venue for them to go back and watch and listen to every week or every other week. It's just really cool and really elevates what it means to be a Jacket. But going into this weekend, we'll have Baldwin High School out of Florida tomorrow at 7:30 as part of Valdosta is hosting the Georgia-Florida border war.
Okay,
cool. It'll be us, Valdosta, and forgive me, but I forget the other Georgia team, and then Florida State University High School, Baldwin, and Oakleaf. So we'll play Baldwin and Oakleaf. Baldwin tomorrow at 7:30, Oakleaf Saturday at 3:30 at the new high school. They have a brand new turf field and batting cage of their own that's really, really first class. We went over and toured it as we were preparing to build ours, and so we're eager to be able to use that facility. You can follow all the games on our Game Changer. It's literally GameChanger.com. It's an app. You can search it on your phone. You can follow on the highlights for free. We live score all of our games, and that Game Changer would be the way to go if you can't make it over there. If they do make it, it's a cash at the gate. They ask that We don't bring any chairs because it's a college facility. It's really gym. Looking forward to our kids getting over there playing at a first class facility, get some really, really good competition.
And it's at Valdosta, correct?
Yes, sir. At Valdosta.
Okay.
Awesome. Coach.
The new school and the new field.
Okay.
Awesome.
Cool. Coach, I appreciate you calling, man. We look forward to talking to you. We'll talk to you again in 2 weeks on March the 6th. We'll get you to call in. And once again, a fantastic job, fantastic start of the season. It don't get no better than 35 to nothing, whatever, or 36 to nothing, whatever it is right now. And,
that's right.
And just fantastic job. Kudos to the guys. Kudos to the coaching staff and y'all. And go Jackets.
Go Jackets. Thanks for having me. See you, boys.
Thank you,
see you,
Coach.
man. Once again, the people that we put in place.
Yep.
The standard keeps going up and up and up.
Yep.
Just a great guy, easy to talk to, cares as much about the kids as he does winning, and it really builds for success. As you've seen through our first 3 games, automatically, balled in, ready to go, and then you sprinkling the facility stuff with it. It's good stuff.
Yep.
So,
it's a lot of excitement.
Bryce, give me a recruiting synopsis. Have you heard anything? We got anything rumbling on the interwebs of Twitter or X?
There is a lot going on. This is a good problem to have, to be confused on what's going on left and right because there's so much going on. The only one I know for sure as far as visits go is Deuce has scheduled a visit to West Virginia, I believe.
West Virginia.
Somebody else scheduled another visit, but I
think Cam has got a visit coming
to
up.
Ohio State. Yep.
And there was one more person I'm thinking of.
Somebody going to Duke?
Let him get that one out of the way, and we'll see him back in Tallahassee.
Is he hitting I-10 and going down 75 to go to Gainesville?
Nah.
I was just wondering. I'm just asking.
I would think probably.
No, I'm just joking with you. But once again, talent on talent on talent, no matter where you look.
Yep.
And we talk about with this Swarmcast.
Yep.
We look at all this. All these pages of stuff we get to talk about.
We've talked for a little over an hour.
Yeah.
And I failed to mention our golf team won their first golf match by 4 strokes. They beat Bainbridge. Unfortunately, with the rain that we just had, our match with Thomasville today got canceled. Our bass team is supposed to be fishing this weekend at Lake Lanier at 19 degrees. I don't know if they're going to do that.
Well, speaking of Lake Lanier, here's Randy Young.
Speaking of Randy Young around Lake Lanier.
Yeah, I'm calling to order a blizzard to go.
Sorry, it's
I'll
already
just leave my empty cup up
How about a
for you.
blizzard to be gone?
fresh out.
I figured that there's no problem with that. If Casey's in the room, I know what
Hey,
happens. So you
now.
got to go. You got to go there.
Well,
You
you
will be
missed out.
muted.
We had a turtle blizzard this week, and it was top notch as always because we want to thank our sponsor, Dairy Queen.
Absolutely.
The Curl Crew, as Jamie likes to call them down there at the DQ. Fantastic job as always. Well, Randy, I'll say it was easy this week, but we had so much to talk about. You couldn't not be easy. If we mess this thing up, I don't know. But at this point, we just have to go home.
And are the girls playing softball too yet?
No, that's a fall. That's a fall sport. Yeah.
Good gracious! I mean, it's hard to keep up with.
Right. Oh, it's a lot going on.
Spring's busy. I mean, when spring gets started, there's a lot going on. But once basketball season starts to tail down, then you've got baseball and you've got track and you've got soccer and you got the fishing. There's a bunch going on. I mean, there's 5 or 6 sports. And I want to brag on the kids that were up here doing this thing today.
That's what I was about to ask you about. How did that go?
Yeah. Skills USA is a vocational competition. It's done through the CTAE department there. Beth Adams, who is the czarina of all of the stuff that's going on through the CTAE department. Welding, construction, like the broadcast production stuff, all the hands-on stuff. And this was kids from all over the state. And what I was doing, I was the technical advisor for the audio production side. And I got to brag on a couple in particular. Those of our fans who are watching that have listened to the Tailgate Show, they know Nyla Emery Davis's name because Nyla had done a ton of interviews. And, of course, Josie Walden, who was pretty much the co-host of everything that happened on the Tailgate Show, along with Jaden Rubo. And they did this audio production thing today where they were given a prompt, and the prompt that they had to do it was almost like they were developing a podcast, about a 2.5 to 3 minute podcast. I was just so proud, though, because, and I'm not saying this as a diss to any of the other kids, Nyla and Josie walked in that room like they owned it.
As Yellow Jackets usually
As they should.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I mean, they were just so confident because they've done it. I mean, it's no big deal. They've been there. They've done it 100 times. And there were other groups of kids that were in there that were on the opposite end of that spectrum. And anyway, it made me really, really proud to see our kids just carrying themselves. Now, I don't know the results. All that'll be judged and everything and turned in by the weekend. But as far as the way they carried themselves and them walking in there like, hey, we got this, they were right on top of it. And just as proud of those two as I could be. And proud of Christy Fawcett and Nick Cooper for getting them ready, and Casey, who helped train them, because they had to hook all the equipment up to be able to record, and then they had to edit it and everything. And there were, I don't know how many vehicles full of Thomas County kids who were up here doing this thing. I know
they
Michael
took
Clapper had
3 vehicles, at least 3.
Michael Clapper had a bunch of automotive kids. There were welding kids there. And then the broadcasting kids, just a really good showing from Thomas County. And our kids they handle themselves. They're just good youngins coming from good families. Right. And I've heard you guys talking, and I agree with you. And Coach Sy mentioned this. We're just very blessed to be in a spot where families matter still, and as a result of that, these kids feel like they matter too. You know what I mean?
And I don't
not
know,
everybody has that.
You know, Randy, you being a teacher in the school system, around kids all the time, you see them in the halls, or did. I've always heard that when your sports programs and the stuff, your extracurricular stuff is top notch and it's thriving, that your school is thriving all the way through and through. Well, it turns everybody's attitude.
Excellence breeds excellence.
Absolutely.
Bottom line. And if they see the baseball team excelling, that's their friends. I mean, that's even though they're not physically on the team, that's part of who they are. I mean, they're representing that blue and gold. Same thing with the football program, broadcasting. I mean, those kids who hear their own voices on the radio on Friday nights in the fall with that tailgate show, doing this. They do a daily news show that's shown to the whole school every single day.
Yep.
You know, and again, that excellence breeds excellence, and it's just a really cool spot. And we do not need to take it for granted.
No,
nope.
Yeah, you're absolutely right.
I'm just telling you, you don't have to get in the car and drive very far.
Yeah. And
you're going to find schools and communities and areas that just don't have it, and they look at what we got and think, man, those guys are kicking butt and taking names. And really and truly we are. It's a great spot to be.
Absolutely.
Now, on another note, of course, we teased all night. So when the kids came to you today with a technical problem, you just told them to call Casey?
Well, let me tell you, I actually figured it out. Hey. I mean, every one of them that had some sort of technical thing, it was something we had run into before. But if it had got too deep, I had Casey on speed dial.
Absolutely.
Just saying.
Hey, well, are you close to being home at least?
I am just going through Unadilla.
Okay.
Or depending on, I mean, all the Georgia folks call it Ugadilla.
Is it really? It ain't Unadilla?
It's Unadilla. Yeah, it's Unadilla.
I'm to say, man,
but it's spelled Un. I always figured 7-Up, the Uncola would come up here and do some sort of commercial, but they never did. But yeah, I'll be hitting the Georgia-Florida Parkway here before too long. I'm about an hour and a half out.
I got you. Well, be careful on the way home, and we look forward to having you in 2 weeks when we're back home.
Yeah, good job, guys. Sounded really, really good. Proud of all the folks tuning in. And again, we'll talk to everybody in 2 weeks.
All right, man. Appreciate you.
Randy.
Hey, we'll talk to you. Bye, guys.
Bye. I see Jacob Smith talking about soccer. We did talk about soccer earlier in the show. Soccer, the boys soccer won 1-0 over Thomasville. I believe that was on Tuesday. Girls soccer won 3-0 over Thomasville.
2
shutouts. Wow. Yeah, same night. We travel to Warner Robins on Friday. I believe the girls are undefeated, and I believe the boys are 1-1, something like that.
Really, that's 4 Thomasville shutouts we're talking.
I know.
Huh?
I know. That's
in the last week.
Wow.
Hey, what can you
We
say?
leaving no meat on the bone.
But who's counting? Who's counting?
that's right.
It's
That's
just,
right.
Hey, I'll tell you
Solid.
what. Circle back on
Yep.
that football
No,
recruiting.
circle back.
Yeah, circle back. Every 2 weeks we do it here. We'll do like a player spotlight.
Sure.
Yeah.
So we'll do Rodney Dunbar. While we've been sitting here, he's picked up
Yeah.
2 offers.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
Offer from Michigan
He's the
State,
man
and offer
now.
from Oklahoma. While we've been sitting here,
Michigan
Started.
State and Oklahoma.
And he's put on a little weight.
Yeah.
Yes.
Mhm.
I think he's trending up, and
Yeah, he's got.
I'm gonna tell you, man, 220 or 225, he'll be unbelievable.
No doubt.
He's already now very physical.
And
He
his
goes
height
and
is
gets the ball.
ridiculous.
I mean, there's nothing wrong with how he plays now
Right.
at all. But
Right.
at two, I think he's at 215 from
yeah.
what. I'm not sure on that, Dunbar. So if I'm off on that, I apologize.
weight
but
you talking about?
weight wise,
On Rivals, it's got him at 175, 6'5", 175.
but I think that
He's
the
bulking
all
up.
season
Yeah,
he's
yeah, because
bulking
right
up.
now
right.
he's bulking up. Right
So,
now.
yeah.
Yeah.
Rodney, if I'm off on that, I'm sorry, but brother, you already do an amazing job already. Any weight that you can put on and keep your speed and your agility, it's only going to help.
Well, and the fact that, like you just said, we've been talking for an hour, and he's picked up 2 offers, one from an SEC school, one from a Big Ten school. The talent that we have across the board, regardless of sport at Thomas County Central, that's why doing this is easy.
Yeah. And
It's
he's
because we have so much to talk about. And it's not just athletics. We have so much to talk about, like Skills USA, like robotics, going to the national competition in Houston, Texas.
Yep.
It's easy when you're surrounded by excellence. And for some reason, they just picked the 4 of us plus Randy to talk about it. Don't
I know
ask
it.
me why.
We're
about
the
that.
luckiest people in the
right.
world.
It's easy.
I just snuck in the door back there.
But
No.
Ken, slow pitch,
It is a spring sport.
is it a spring? sport?
Yes, it is.
So
Yeah, they
it's
kind of
fixing to happen
span it.
now.
I believe so. Yeah,
Okay,
and I
that's
haven't heard
awesome.
anything about
I've
it, but I
seen
believe
some of
yeah.
them out there training. So
Okay,
So
good
yeah,
deal.
it is a spring sport. I had announced a couple times.
I found that visit I was talking about.
Yeah, yeah.
Dunbar's got a visit scheduled for June 6th at Georgia.
Okay.
Oh,
And then to run through a few offers he's got too, in addition to the Michigan State, Oklahoma. He's got Florida State, that's a recent offer, Mississippi State, Ole Miss, Georgia, Kentucky, which he had before the
Mhm.
season even started. Second here.
I tell you,
Well,
I
he's-
love this segment when
Right.
we talk about our kids getting
Yeah.
accolades and getting offers.
Yeah, Auburn, Arkansas, Duke, Georgia Tech, and you name it.
So basically, every team that's playing football this.
Yeah, pretty much.
Wow.
Yeah, between him and Cam and what we had with
Reddick.
with Reddick, I tell Eli all the time. I said, buddy, be your best every day.
Yeah.
Be your best. Try to do something that sticks out
Yeah,
You
because
never know who's
they're watching.
yeah, they
And
are.
you want to say that did you see that guy? Just do something that makes you stick out.
You go back to what Randy said about excellence brings excellence. When you're playing around excellent guys and you play that way, all of a sudden you're looking, at 2 to 3 to 4 to 6 to 10 to 12, and that's what it's become. Is you had a couple of guys like that early in the season, all of a sudden it just
But when it's happening like that, who wants to be the weak link?
right.
Yeah.
Right.
Who wants to be
Yeah.
the guy that's
Absolutely nobody.
Who wants to be the
Yeah.
weak link?
Yeah, but they're
Yeah.
to your point, they're watching. 'Cause look at Amari Stevenson this year. Look at all the offers he's picked
Mhm.
up.
Absolutely.
And he's got a long way to go.
Oh,
with
yeah,
too.
buddy.
Yeah, you got Deuce, you got Guerrero, you got so many guys you could talk about. I see. Omari's going to take an official visit to Cal. I don't blame him. If I had an option to go to California on a visit,
man.
I'd go to California.
I
to
tell
visit.
you what, I
Berkeley's
would
beautiful.
I would petition if I was a player. I would definitely just stick some inbox stuff into Hawaii coaches thing. So, Coach, I need to visit. All right, I need to visit.
I see Obadiah asked a question: can we bring horns to when we travel to Atlanta? The answer: I have no idea.
Well, I mean let's just do it. How about that?
Bring them. If we get in trouble, we get in trouble.
I mean,
Right.
That's the best I can do is tell you no.
Carl Wilson Jr. What about Jalen? Who has he visited?
Ooh.
I know that he has got an offer from South Alabama. He was at a camp and
Senior Bowl camp.
Yep.
with the college
and
kids.
and at South Alabama, he got offered
Yeah, there's
when he
more to
played
come.
there. And he is really, I think, in this offseason, trying to climb the next rung on the ladder, so to speak. And when he takes the field this fall, and really actually here in a couple of weeks when we go to Atlanta to play Gainesville and North Gwinnett, you'll see the stuff that he's putting in place to really solidify himself as being a top prospect.
Absolutely.
And don't hold me to it, but I think I read a while back that he was invited to some camp. So coming up this summer, I could be way off, but I do believe that is the case.
I wouldn't be surprised. There's so many 7-on-7s.
And let me try to make everybody that's listening understand that that Jalen don't do a lot of camps.
Right. Yeah. And he has
some of these kids have been doing camps since they've been in the 7th grade.
Yeah.
And that camps equals stars, to be honest. It does not matter how you play the game. It matters what camps you go to. And that's the bad part of the stuff, to be honest with you, that I don't like. Because it's not about how you play football, how well you play your positions, how well you can run through drills. And
here's what I'd be looking
7-on-7s.
He's 32-2. Am I right? Somewhere around there?
Yeah.
He's 32-2. So what does that say about a leadership? I mean, the guy that leads your team, he's the quarterback. He's 32-2.
And he's coming back for another season.
And he's coming back for another season, which I hate it. But the records he sets here will got a chance to stay for a while.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
Because
I believe
like
that.
Coach Rogers said, when he came here, it had been, Coach, if I'm wrong, it had been 4 or 5 years since he had a quarterback that had come back for one more year.
Right.
Yeah.
He's
Something
had
like
this one
that,
for 3.
Right.
And you can see what the quarterback Coach Thornton has been able to do, and the buy-in from him is
the past few
from
months.
Jalen the last.
Yeah,
I think
last show he
camp
talked
might
about
have opened his eyes to what he
think so,
needed to
too.
work on, and from what I understand, he's doing a phenomenal job. So, but I can't wait. Jalen's just such a humble guy. Just a humble guy.
We'll circle some more players. Every 2 weeks we come back. I'll try to do that. We'll do a player spotlight, on some recruiting stuff and everything. Catch everybody up.
Well, guys, it's 8:12. How quickly that went on. It's like every week, of course, we talk about it's hard to fit all this stuff in an hour.
Got to tell Grey Dog.
Go ahead.
Hello. Old Grey Dog, my daughter, she got her a Camaro this weekend.
Hey,
this weekend. But she's in hog heaven, or not hog heaven, in yellow jacket heaven.
Sure.
So, but anyway, gonna give her a shout out. She always supports me.
And she's got a birthday coming up here soon, right?
She sure does.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I see.
And both of my bands will be playing at the fairgrounds. So
Well,
on March 26th.
Just to let
You
y'all
be busy.
know, I was able to secure the best band to play at my wedding. And don't ask me how I did it. Don't ask me how I did it.
Oh, by the way, he'll be hit you next time we have a
that's right.
Yeah, what's
I
that?
got
He'll
about
have
a week
some
to go.
gold on that.
Wait,
phone.
are you going? When are y'all leaving? Are you going to be here for the next show?
What do you mean?
Like, when are y'all leaving to go on your trip?
Oh, we won't be going till spring break. But yeah, I'll be here.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
But I'll be a married man. Keep that in mind.
He will be off the market.
That being said, guys, thank y'all for listening to us. I'm sorry it was a little bit different this week. Ken Hortman, USA versus Canada now. Hopefully they play with hockey sticks and not fisticuffs.
I don't know. I prefer the fist. That was pretty cool. That was pretty awesome.
Hey, but we really, really, really enjoyed having y'all tonight. We appreciate this new platform Casey got set up for us. Don't forget, you can still share it after we're done. And don't forget, in 2 weeks, March the 6th will be our next show, Jamie.
Carl Wilson, I'm 100% in agreement with you. 100%. But hey, just keep it on the down low.
That's right.
Because Jalen gonna do his thing.
Yeah,
So.
yeah, that's right. Guys, thank y'all so much for tuning in. This has been the Swarmcast for this evening. We'll see you in 2 weeks on March the 6th.